It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, starting at verse 6. Damn, I'm tired. It's Lakia. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 55, and verse 6, and it reads, Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return unto the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. And he will have mercy upon him, and to our power, for he will abundantly pardon. It says, For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts your thoughts. And my thoughts than your thoughts. Verse 10, For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to call William Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, Hashem Kodash. I want to say double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Aqua out there listening and learning. Lord willingly, you get some kind of edification out of this. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad, in the land of other nations appearing like other nations, but who subscribe to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. Brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. This is the brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through Spirit and power. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Yahweh meaning he is, he exists, or he can be. Ba'ashem Ba'az Ed Haz Dashim Dave. Yahweh meaning he saves or he delivers true name to the Most High God. That's who people anyway call God is Jesus Christ, but whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. This lesson is inspired by this article. It caught my attention because I knew I wasn't tripping. I remember they pretty much summoned her to give a statement, or they summoned her to like speak on the Epstein files, and but I knew they also was going to do it again. So I looked it up, and it says Congress votes to summon Attorney General Pam Bondi to testify in Epstein case. So now they were summoning her to testify. And Lord and behold, now Pam Bondi flees to U.S. military base. Or military bases? No, military base after reported spike in threats. So I know I came across an article. They try to say that the Sinaloa cartel basically put a hit out on her or some bullshit. But it's mighty. Bear with me for a second. But it's mighty auspicious. Right before she's supposed to testify, now it's a threat on her life and all this old shit. Yeah. So, again, just like with these devils being exposed, but nobody being, locked up. I was watching somebody's podcast. I don't know if they said they charged or arrested somebody involved in the e-files, but, again, it'd be so much information you're trying to filter through. I found it funny. J. Trump with his sorcery, he got people really thinking that they about to stop this war. They committed. You know what I'm saying? I said that. I said, I don't see them. It costs money to move tankers and shit, and, you know what I mean? And submarines and aircraft carriers. All that costs money. I knew something was about to go down just because of the fact that they was passing the budgets, and it would pass for like, what, a month, 2 months? Then they have to go back and vote. Before then, the one brother, the two brothers, the one brother, he did an article or did a lesson talking about, is that who Pete Hegswit, saying that pretty much he calling for just like what I was, because I did a couple articles on it, Donald Trump basically wanted to form National Guard troops, 500 from each state, so they could be quick response teams. So each state would have 500, and that's a lot of soldiers when you take time to think about it. If the people ain't armed or whatnot. Now the thing is this though, enough people can overrun. You see it in the zombie movies and the zombie shows and shit like that. Enough zombies can overrun. I had this game called Days Gone. And it was a cold game because of the fact, out of all the zombie games, I've never seen them move in a horde. And you had to basically destroy the whole horde. Like, it was a slick game. The concept of it and how they did it. It didn't have too many bugs or glitches. It was fun. I played that shit till I beat it. And then it's one of those games like Grand Theft Auto where you can continue to play it even though you beat it. Like, I'm the type that when I beat the game, I lose interest in it. So, but some people like to play games like, you got Jake so fucked up. You'll have Jake, like some of those streamers, like they go on there and they really like live in the game. They sit up there, they buying clothes, they sit up there, they hang it out. You got niggas that's gangbangers that literally go on there and really hook up with people, like how niggas play Call of Duty. And go on there and they really like a squad of, Navy SEALs or whatever the fuck they is, really try to take out the other group. Well, you got individuals that go on the video game and really banging sets and really like beefing with niggas on the video game. I mean, you can't make the shit up. So just imagine when these people really turn on one another. But again, if she's fleeing to a military base for whatever reason, that's telling you the times we in, And like the Lord said, his word will not go out void. It will not return. All these things that's written are a prophecy. The things that are taking place right now are prophecy. I watch a guy called Large Man Abroad, and he was like, he's in the military and all kind of shit, and he exposes a lot about the country. But you gotta question these streamers. He was talking about, he seemed legit to a degree because he was going to like, he against the war, and he was like, he come from a family of veterans. He was like, his dad was a veteran, his father's father was a veteran, and he was like, how traumatizing it is. And then he's seeing that this administration is literally just doing this shit, for the elites. So he be exposing a lot of stuff. But he's saying like hyperinflation about to kick in. And I can see that. Like, again, we don't trust in money, food, weapons, none of that shit. We trust in Yahweh Shem Yahshua. But, I mean, it wouldn't be completely foolish to grab an extra can of this or a bag of that because, again, the price is about to skyrocket from the oil to the gas to the food because all them ships that's being destroyed, like they plan like literally. I watched this other guy named Johnny Bravo. I was gonna do a lesson on it. He was just showing like they blowing up them ships like boom, like it's the bomb. That old ass they blowing that shit up. Like the brother say, my love went bang bang bang. It went boom. You know what I'm saying? They blowing everything up. You know what I'm saying? So and it's not going the way that they thought. And best believe, eventually boots gonna hit the ground. And all we wait for that moment, but like the elder brother said, the C hip got to come before, World War III. Well, we in World War III, but before, they actually like officially is on and popping like popcorn. You know what I mean? But we in the stages where all that can be implemented. Like you can clearly see this money about to fail. The brother's been sitting up there and just meditating and visualizing different scenarios. Like anything can happen out of this. I remember when Barack Obama made that statement, just like he made the statement about the aliens. You know what I mean? And DJ Trump talking about he wasn't supposed to say that. Like, nigga, I can clearly see that y'all playing these games like you said something. Like, it's all acting. It's a script. But I remember him making a statement when he's the president. He said he's not concerned about, what did he say? He wasn't concerned about a particular thing because a reporter questioned him. He said, I'm more concerned about a pocket nuke going off in Manhattan. That's what he said. Now you got a situation where, the stage is set for that type shit, right? And then they always got to have a scapegoat. So who you think is going to be? The funny part is a lot of this shit, like when a person quick enough or, some people style of boxing or whatever, they don't telegraph their punches. But you could clearly see like if the Lord dealing with you, what they about to do. So that caught my attention. I didn't really even want the article. Oh yeah, but it's gonna go into it. There's a big mama. Attorney General Pam Bondi has left her apartment in Washington, D.C. and moved to a military base in the area after reportedly facing threats from drug cartels and critics of her handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case. Why would the drug cartels have something to do with, what I'm saying? So, what do they call that? Continuity of government? And then this bitch is actually like heavily involved with a lot of shit. So it seems like to me, again, this was just a move to keep her from testifying. Because again, I know she testified one time before, but that was dated like March 4th. What's today? The 13th? Friday. What the brother be saying? Jason, Michael Myers, son of Sam. He said, burn, baby, burn. What Usher say? Let it burn. But anyhow, that just caught my attention because again, people see the threat. Everybody see it except for you 2/3 and you copper tops, you Babylonians. But again, also you got people that do see, But for the most part, a lot of people don't see. Like, look, I'm at my job and I'm looking at these Edomites and it's a couple Jake there, and they literally like they don't know what the fuck going on. I'm telling dude about. I was talking to my female friend. And I was like, well, you need to let people know they can afford to, get or stock up. I wouldn't, yeah, though. Like, you don't know how the shit gonna play out. My thing is, I wouldn't spend all my money on that shit because, what happens when, government actually watches what you read. Facts. So the government or the library can have a book on something that that's just like how they watch, like you get around certain things, you make cash purchases, but if you make a purchase with a credit card, they could actually find that, they could trace that. That's why they doing away with the cash, because they want to track and trace everything. But I thought of a few scriptures because again, we are in a time of threats. It's the book of 2 Peter chapter 3. Come on. We close to nuclear war. You got, I was just listening to somebody who was speaking on that. They was talking about if, out of desperation, what is those Israelis playing? The Samson directive, where if they getting their ass whooped or feel they're going to be destroyed, they got in their mind, we just going to nuke somebody. So fuck the rest of the world. This is how selfish and demonic these people is. And if they was to shoot one, you don't think Russia is gonna get involved? You should have knew Russia was behind the scenes, doing and orchestrating shit. Well, not just orchestrating, but like I said, Russia was silent about helping them. China made it known, like, yeah, we are allies for the world. So, but again, two superpowers beat one. This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 3. And starting at verse 9, it reads, the Lord is not slack concerning his promise, as some men count slackness. So the Lord had many promises. And one of the promises is him coming with judgment to this place known as Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America. It says, but his long suffering to us were not willing that any should perish, but that all should come to repentance. But the day of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of person ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of the Lord, or coming of the day of the Most High, wherein the heavens shall be on fire. It's like it, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Think about that. Imagine how hot it's gonna have to be for the heat or the air, the very air, to be on fire. But air is an element. Verse 13. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. And when our big brother, our Lord and Savior, come back to redeem us and establishes his kingdom on earth, that's what we looking for. That's what we hastening for. That's what we trust in. That's what we striving for. That's what we enduring for. Because again, for somebody that believes in Yahweh Shem Yahshua, I did a lesson talking about, like Freemasons. Like a Mason basically is a builder. So, you got these Freemasons that's literally trying to build a left-handed kingdom, wherein, Shantan is in rulership. And the scriptures tell you the earth is already given into his hand. We trying to build, a righteous kingdom. That's why the scriptures talk about the men of the Lord being precious stones. A man that believes in Yahweh Shem Yahshua is going, be vexed here. And I've heard of a few different brothers say the same thing I've been saying lately, because everything is just intensifying. The wickedness is intensifying. Like it couldn't get no more wicked. Satan say, no, nigga, I can make it more, what I mean? I can make it more hot, what I mean? I can make it hotter spiritually. It's the book of Ephesians chapter 5. I'm extremely tired. Salakia. Book of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 14. Wherefore he saith, awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead. Mashiach shall give thee light. Because we was all asleep at one point, until the Lord gave us the grace, and the mercy to open us up to this truth. And, this glorious light is this, this gospel. Look at this dark ass, wicked ass world. You know what I mean? I just found out something about a family member. Like nobody knows where my brother at. And I haven't seen my brother since I was homeless. I've been out of homelessness for at least 9 years. And the craziest part, I ain't even gonna go into detail, but my sister asked me, because half of my siblings live out of town, and half of my siblings they live in Atlanta. And I didn't want to go there, what I mean? I heard little stories about it. I would have been vexed down there. But it was just crazy to me because my sister asked me, I explained to her, and then she tell me that, and then they send me some shit. Nobody got my address, so I know that was the Lord. And at the end of the day, like I said, my brother's being a demon unto me. So Lord willingly, I ain't gonna just wish him to, death or no shit like that. But at the same time, seek out your own salvation. You know what I mean? I try to give him the truth. The thing is, I remember one time I was with the brothers listening and homeless at the time. He had a place he happened to walk past and he listened. But I told you that's the brother that bowed down to the brothers, but he didn't repent. And that's the scary part. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have to tell y'all that. But, I speak on it. I'm not a fool to tell all my business, but I speak on it because, scriptures talk about, what's that? Malachi chapter 1 and verse 6. If I be a teacher or if I be a father or a master, where's my honor and where's my fear? These niggas don't fear the Lord, but they will. You get what I'm saying? I can imagine, I was hearing all these stories. I'm like, they talking about, I ain't even gonna go into detail, but I'm telling my sister, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm not about to stop what I got going on to be well. No, we all picked a side. What's that in the book of, what's that, Joshua? He said, choose this day who ye shall. You can serve the world. You can serve Shantan. You can do whatever you want. You can serve money, which the money ain't worth shit. To hit a lick on my family. This is how scandalous my family is. Somebody in my family hit a lick on their own family. And I think about that shit often, but at the same time, I don't think about it often. That's a lie. I think about it every once in a while. Like, damn, you know how wicked you. I think about this part and it make me smile because I'm like, you done did all that and the money about to be worthless. And just imagine when you got to go talk to the Lord about that. Ephesians 5, verse 15. See that you walk circumspectly, meaning looking all around. I ain't got time to go look for him. The fuck? And when I think about it, it's like, yeah, it's kind of sad because that's, my blood. But at the same time, it's not sad. I just made the statement about he came down and saw the cap. He even bowed to the brothers. So his spirit knew this was some high spiritual stuff, right? And yet you still chose. And I was dealing with a female, and it's funny because Jacob sit up there and be like, "Oh, your title don't matter." But then when I gave it away, he's like, "Don't worry about it. You got your ranking and whatnot." And I'm like, I thought it didn't matter. My Eve at the time told me, she was like, "No, they can't take it away because." I'm not doing nothing, and just going to work ain't enough. The body's meant to be moved, which is the truth. That's why I'm praying the Lord open up a way where I can focus more on me. Like my children ain't like really babies. You know what I mean? They should be able to do for themselves to a degree. They wipe their own ass. They know how to wash their. You know what I mean? Like they know how to take care of themselves to a degree. What's again? Charles White, as much as I don't like that nigga did say this. He said everybody think it's a misconception. The man's supposed to do everything for everybody and then just die. With no reward, no, he ain't supposed to get shit. And that is the mindset of the world. No respect given to these men, but then you expect these men like this is. And then with Satan just openly ruling, like get the fuck, shit getting harder. You do get that. I just tagged the video. I mean, an article. They talking about half of the renters in Ohio are paying more than what they can afford. I was just listening to the brother say that shit. I mean, you got to understand these times getting serious. And the thing is, like, they literally nobody's giving a fuck about your financial situation. I had a ticket in Lakewood. Well, a ticket in a city in our city or near our city. It's not a city in our city. A city near our city. And, basically, I showed them that I was supposed to be able to drive. Because like I said, I lost my license, you know what I'm saying? So, but I got driving privileges. Boom. I showed them I was able to drive, and I still had to pay a fine. So I'm paying on the motherfucker. I quit that job. So I stopped paying. The lady was like, if you don't pay it, it's going to go to the state. You know, the attorney general, they going to basically, you know, you're going to have to pay it to the state. They're going to take it from your income tax or whatever the case may be. These motherfuckers sent me a letter talking about you got to come back to court if you don't pay. I said, what? That's how thirsty these motherfucking municipalities is. This shit is over with. Just by seeing that, that's what's working around being circumspect. The cities make money off of the citizens. You know, they pay taxes and these different things. Well, these cities are broke because motherfuckers ain't working. These cities doing these illegal red camera tickets, red light, or these camera tickets, that's illegal. But, you know, the people don't, you know. What's that scripture that talks about, I think it's like Matthew 16. So you can discern the times and the season. I mean, you can discern the weather, but you can't discern the times and the seasons of what we living in. The book of Luke chapter 21 and verse 29, and he spake. I'm going to read it in the NLT. Then he gave them this illustration. Notice the fig tree or any other tree. When the leaves come out, you know without being told that summer is near. In the same way, when you see all these things taking place, you can know that the kingdom of the Most High is near. I tell you the truth, this generation will not pass from the scene until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth will disappear, but my words will never disappear. Watch out. Don't let your hearts be dulled by carousing and drunkenness and by the worries of this life. Don't let that day catch you unawares. That's why the elders emphasize always putting in work. Because, I mean, you got to understand, we in a spiritual battle. You know, that's why, you know, fasting and praying and all these different things are tools in the toolbox or in the spiritual toolbox to be utilized in order that you don't. Because again, you can get disenchanted. It could be many of things. You know, Satan creeps in unawares, and next thing you know, you're not listening to videos, you're not doing the work, you're not doing videos. Next thing you know, you back in the world. And it's too close. I mean, if you can't see what time it is, and then like the elder was saying, I get why he emphasized you can't take off and then come back and act like as if you ain't, you know, you ain't never stopped. Because you are employed by the creator of the heavens and the earth. How you gonna take it? You know what I mean? Like the elder brother said, this ain't no it's no retirement or a 401k. Well, it is though, when you take time to think about it. Because you know, we storing up our treasures in heaven. You know, trusting in man, these people 401ks and all this different shit, when the economy crashes, they gonna take all that. That's the whole point of Social Security. Because of the Great Depression, when everybody lost everything. So they set up a program where, okay, we got to give you some money when you get older. But guess what? They talk about that program ain't going to be here forever. This is how there's a wicked these motherfucking people here. So a corrupted ass government, society, however you want to put it, how do you think some righteous going to come up out of that? It says, don't let that day catch you unaware like a trap, for that day will come upon everyone living on the earth. Keep alert at all times and pray that you might be strong enough to escape these coming horrors and stand before the Son of Man. But I like that part in the KJV, so I'm going to read it in KJV. Because it say to be accounted worthy. Because again, Only the ones that's going to be accounted worthy is the elect. Watch ye therefore and pray always that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass and to stand before the Son of Man. And only those that's going to escape is the elect, because the Lord has had to have preordained you. No, nobody knows how our situation. You got people that stock it up, and, and it took me a minute to figure that out. Because the way I was, the Lord got the spirit on you to do whatever the fuck you doing. If you prepping, if you hoarding ammunition, whatever the fuck you doing, you know what I'm saying? That's the spirit of the Lord got you doing that. That's why certain brothers learning how to camp and live in the woods and live out. Like the elder was saying, you talking about a bug out bag, but you don't know how to utilize the tools in the motherfucker. I never was in the spirit of learning how to, start a fire and none of that shit, because I don't think I'm going out in the wilderness. Like, I had silver and gold and I had to use it because I'm, pretty much by myself. So that showed me like maybe I only had that for up until this point. Only reason why I bought a tent or any of the little other shit is because I watched people supposed to be over me talk about and doing these things. So monkey see, monkey do. But being that I've been on my own, I realized none of that shit gonna matter. You know what I'm saying? That's just like the one particular elder from South Carolina. I watched a video he made, I don't know how long ago, but he said something. He said, you got individuals talking about, the authorities come. He said, you'd be better off just to go with them, trust in the Lord. You never know. They might be trying to come get you, and the Lord make them pass your house. They don't see anything. But you got to understand, this is the Lord's movie. So that's why the elder was like, ain't no point of really doing no bug out bag. Because you got to think about it. What if you pack I was watching some shit where a guy would pretty much, he had like a dehydrator, so he would dehydrate certain food, like soups and all that type shit, and then go out in the woods. Esau is into that. I've never really been into the woods and shit like that. Like I like nature, I like beaches, I like the forest, I like certain shit, but I never wanted to be like Esau living in the field. They say Esau was a man of the field and Jacob was dwelling in tents, chilling at the house. You know what I'm saying? So Salakia for my rant and rambling and whatnot. That caught my attention because, again, these doubles know, these elites know, everybody know, the brothers know, the believers know, but, the 2/3 of these Babylonians, they don't realize the times we in. You got somebody in a position like that, and she said, I'm going to a military base, and she probably not coming back out. And for whatever reason, it could be because of something is more serious, she realized something, or it could be because of the fact they don't want her to testify. Who knows? Only Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua knows. But I do know this. Just because you in a military base doesn't mean that, you know what I mean? Come on, the Pentagon got struck, remember? During 9/11. That base shit don't mean shit. You got embassies that got soldiers, because that's a garrison. There's soldiers that be in the embassies. They've been blowing the motherfuckers up, right? So yeah, we in the time of judgment. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statute, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to call Loyim La Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Hakodash. Double honors to the elders, to the apostles that I learned this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and the Akwath to listening and learning. Lord willing, this is edified. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations. In the land of the other nations appear like the other nations, but who subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, I'm able to come with another lesson. Say shalom, shalom. Say kwam yasharallah, and we'll waffle up a ball.